Weird and Wonderful from the Nats. Look, it's still going.
Oh, that wasn't even the best. He had an unbelievable one to Worthy, part of that new supercharged receiver.
It is supercharged. I even saw a list about that.
And down in Carolina, where Bryce Young is trying to bounce back from a miserable rookie season. According to Dave Hellman at FoxSports.com, if things don't go well, clock might be ticking for Bryce. Still believe Young can play. I think the upgrades to Carolina's offensive line skill groups will prove that this fall. If I'm wrong, it's not crazy to think the Panthers will be looking for a new plan at quarterback in 2025. Coach, are you buying this?
I don't know if it's going to happen after this year. It'd be pretty tough to start looking after this year. Now, his rookie season was fairly miserable. We have 11 touchdowns, 10 picks.
Yeah, one great.
72 quarterback rating. But you've now have a rookie head coach, so you have that transition, so he's adjusting there. They did draft a wide receiver, number one. They traded back up to get Xavier Leggett. But then you move on from a guy like Brian Burns, so it's hard to say that they're really infusing a ton of talent into the organization. And as you change head coaches, there's got to be a little bit of a grace period there, as well as he learns how the NFL works and the best way to use Bryce.
Let's just get down to brass tacks.
What?
Is he big enough or not?
No, he's not big enough. But, listen, he's just not big enough. And which is why they had to spend all that money on guards. Like, you have to build your team differently. He is.
Can we remember this the next time we talk about the draft? If Nick is like, oh my God, this player is incredible. He's 5'2".
Oh, no. There is at this position in particular, in my opinion, a minimum height and size requirement. We'll see if I'm ever proven wrong. Up to this point, I haven't been.
But where did you have Bryce on your quarterback list when he was coming out?
No, not as a guy that I was on the record that I said I liked Anthony Richardson because of the measurables. I thought CJ had a low ceiling, high floor. It looks like I was wrong on it. And I liked Bryce the least. This is not based on his rookie season. It's based on, it is to me a binary thing. Are you big enough? No. With that said, this is going to kind of seem odd. It would be devastating for the Panthers to have to draft a quarterback next year. Like, they need to have some hope that I'm wrong, because the issue is, Greg, they still owe another pick for Bryce. They owe next year's number 2. So now they have a number 2 coming in from the Rams. But the point I'm making is, if you're like, okay, he's not the guy, we have the 4th pick of the draft, we're drafting a quarterback, well, now you're using a premium pick on the quarterback. You don't have your own 2nd-round pick, and that quarterback's going to be walking into a team as bereft of talent as Bryce did. So, like, you've got to hope he shows enough that you can then use your top 10 pick on, a premium position, spend money in free agency, and see if you can build up the talent around him. I think he's too small to ever be an elite quarterback, but he should be able to be better than he was last year.
Well, for me, I think it just feels like it's a make-or-break year, although it's not. It feels like it because of how poorly he played. He didn't show a spark of, man, did you see that did you see Bryce Young last week, or did you see that throw? We didn't say one word about Bryce Young last season about something positive. And then C.J. Stroud goes and does that. I think that's the hard thing. His counterparts, they're showing good. Like C.J. Stroud doing what he did with the Houston Texans, it made Bryce Young you got to do something this year, because we're putting something around you, although I get it as a rookie coach. And then this year, you got Caleb coming in. Yeah. If Caleb strikes gold, which we all feel like he's going to show some flashes, and he doesn't show anything, it's going to feel like the Panthers have to do something.
That'll be the dagger to the heart. If Caleb ends up going on to a great career and that was your draft pick, the pick you traded away, that'll hurt forever.
What's weird about that is, I know we got to go, the number 1 pick of the draft wouldn't have been from them had they drafted the right quarterback. You understand what I mean? Like, had they drafted CJ last year, then the pick they sent Chicago wouldn't have been Caleb.
It's like a double win.
It would have, you know what I mean? It would have been Joe Alt or whatever it is. It would have been something else. But
Joe Alt's good, though.
I understand, but it's not Caleb. It's
Greg on the Packers. Jordan Love looking to build on the end of his last season, which saw him finish with a 6-2 record while throwing 18 touchdowns, only 1 pick. His coach was asked about Love not having a true number one wide receiver. And, well, the question almost made him puke. Take a listen.
I want to vomit every time I hear number one receiver, to be honest with you. It drives me crazy. That's something that you guys talk about. I feel like we got a bunch of them. I think the beauty of them is they're all capable of doing many things, which gives us a lot of versatility from an offensive perspective in terms of how we use these guys and deploy their talents.
Okay, here's the Packers receivers. Production out of pretty much everybody, and Christian Watson should pop if he's healthy this year. Greg, are you willing to guarantee the Packers are playoff bound?
Absolutely.
Wow. Lead pipe lock?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. This is a playoff bound team. Look, we see all the talent around Jordan Love, but I think what's kind of being missed is what's behind Jordan Love in Josh Jacobs. As much as I love Aaron Jones, and I thought Aaron Jones was a fantastic player in this scheme specifically, Josh Jacobs is going to be a problem. Ooh. Because he runs just as hard. He's extremely physical. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. And then you pair that with A.J. Dillon. Like, they have a really solid offensive unit up front. They're better up front as far as protection for Jordan Love. Defensively, this team is going to improve. Like, I really like the Packers generally are a good, well-run organization, and it's hard for them to falter when they have a good quarterback and they have good quarterback play. I feel like I should be Brew right now in representation that I'm sitting in his seat and waver a little bit because I want to say something.
Oh, wow.
I want to say something about the Packers.
Well, it's not predictions
but
week
I'm
yet.
not ready yet.
Oh, yeah, it's not predictions.
I'm not ready.
Are you flirting with them?
I'm flirting
Are
with.
you flirting with the Packers to the Super Bowl?
It's not your official, but you want to put in pencil sometime.
That's why I got the pencil.
Put in pencil.
You're paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why you would be flirting with him. I like the addition of Josh Jacobs as well, and I think having a receiver group that is young and no egos, so they will do whatever they're asked to do, and that typically, when you have a competitive group like that, they sharpen each other and they're competing with each other. So I think that's all very positive. My concern is the progress that we saw last year from them. They were 6-8 at one point, then they got hot. Is that who they are? And can now they deal with expectations? Can now they deal with success? Can they do all those things that they did at the end of the season and have it legitimately carry over? And then with Love, I don't like the up and down. I don't like the incredible games and then the volume of games that sit either in the 70s or 60s. If he can bring that bottom up a little bit, then I think they've got something.
So I don't know which one, but I am, and if any of the great sports books out there will set a line on this bet, I would love to put some money on it. One of the Texans or the Packers are going to wildly disappoint. Those two teams that last year people had no expectations for, neither started off super hot, and then by the end of the year it's like, holy crap, look at them, look at their young quarterback, look at this great team that right now both of them have legitimate kind of Super Bowl whisper buzz. One of those two, all of NFL history tells us, one of those two teams is going to step back this year because progress is not linear.
What is wildly disappointing?
Miss the playoffs.
Okay.
One of those two teams is going to miss the playoffs, which I think, given their expectations right now, that'd be wildly disappointing.
I like that. Maybe tomorrow's list. The wildly disappointing.